NPR.
This is The Indicator from Planet Money. I'm Wailin Wong.
And I'm Ricky Mulvey. The Iran war has led to the deaths of thousands of people, economic instability around the globe, and billions of dollars in U.S. military spending. But financial markets march on. And now traders aren't just watching price charts and economic data, they're staying tuned to President Trump's Truth Social posts.
They're seeing if the war seems to be heating up or cooling down. If it's heating up, oil prices are up. If it's cooling down, the S&P 500 has a good day.
But some traders may know what's coming before the rest of the market does.
Case in point, in late March, President Trump announced on Truth Social that he would postpone strikes on Iran. Right before that announcement, at least one trader bet big that oil prices would fall and the S&P 500 would rise.
Doesn't mean it couldn't be completely coincidence. Could be. But it does strike me as a bit fishy.
Today on The Indicator, we're looking into suspicious trades. How did a financial tool that farmers use transform into speculative bets on Iran getting a nuclear weapon? And are regulators paying attention? That's after the break.
This message comes from Betterment. You know when you sell a stock or any investing asset and start to feel the dread of getting a surprise tax bill? Betterment's Tax Impact Preview tool shows you the estimated tax impact of the sale, so you can make informed, tax-smart investing decisions. Get started today at Betterment.com. Investing involves risk, performance not guaranteed. Betterment is not a tax advisor, nor should any information herein be considered tax advice. Please consult a qualified tax professional.
This message comes from LinkedIn. As a small business owner, you wear many hats. You're the owner, the marketer, the seller, the hirer. With LinkedIn, you have the tools to help you boost your visibility, find prospective customers, and find the best team for your small business, all in one place. So while LinkedIn can't hang up all of your hats, it makes it easier to wear them all. Learn more at linkedin.com/indicator show. This message comes from Dell. Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments that matter. Like a big project that can't be interrupted by an update. With long-lasting battery life, you can stay focused on what matters. Built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
Traders are paying more attention to politics these days. Michael Coe is a trader now with Tidal Financial Group.
I actually signed up for a Truth Social account just to try to keep track of it, but I will admit that I have not been diligent about logging into it. It's just one of these things that's not the way we're used to operating.
Two trades that recently caught Michael's attention were in the futures market.
And just a quick explainer here, the futures market lets a seller lock in a price with a buyer ahead of time.
Farmers and ranchers historically used these contracts to, say, guarantee a price for their corn harvest right after they planted the seeds.
They've become popular bets in financial markets. They're essentially betting on price changes.
And it's in this market that our suspicious trades took place.
The first was a $1.5 billion trade betting that the price of the S&P 500 would quickly rise. The other was a few $100 million bet that the price of oil would fall. These bets happened very close together early in the morning of March 23rd and were relatively huge compared to other trades that morning.
A few minutes after the trades went through, President Trump posted on Truth Social, gotta say it in all caps, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East.
Thanks for your attention to this matter, Ricky. Okay, so the S&P 500 rose and the price of oil fell on the news. Iranian state media later disputed that these talks happened. However, Michael says the trades had already paid off.
Those trades were up $50 million within very short period of time.
A few elements were fishy to Michael. First, the size of the trades. Second, they happened one right after the other. And third was the timing before Trump's post.
What was extraordinary about that one was that the catalyst wasn't specifically on the calendar, so to speak, right?
In other words, Trump's ceasefire announcement was unexpected, and these large bets appeared to come out of nowhere.
So, was anyone paying attention?
We are the cop on the beat.
Kristen Johnson is a past commissioner with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or the CFTC.
Our job at the CFTC is to ensure the integrity and stability of markets.
She was a commissioner of the CFTC from 2022 to 2025 under Presidents Biden and Trump.
The way our markets work, algorithms and essentially bots are regularly gathering data and mimicking or mirroring trades that happen in the markets.
Traders sometimes follow the herd. One increase in bets can lead to more traders taking the exact same position. Kristen says maybe these trades are the result of a snowball.
However, she says that they deserve a second look.
The challenge, however, is when we see activity that appears to reflect that someone gained access to potentially confidential information or classified information in the context of a military campaign and use that information to profit personally, red flags fly almost immediately, and there are lots of questions that we would want to have answered.
Traders on the other side of the bet that lost money may also have a beef. They may want to know who made the trade and did they have information that gave them an unfair advantage.
But Kristen says it is fairly easy for the commission to find out which accounts made these specific trades if it wants to.
Simply by virtue of an inquiry, a letter or email request to the exchange, the CFTC would be provided quite quickly with information regarding the accounts where trading activity took place.
That's because these traditional futures exchanges have something called Know Your Customer rules. See, when you open an account to trade futures, or if you even open a retirement account, your broker needs to know who you are. They want to know if you're qualified to trade risky bets, and they want to make sure you're not doing anything illegal.
But today, it's tougher for the CFTC to take on these investigations.
One fairly significant challenge that arose as I was leaving the commission was sort of a move to reduce the size of the Division of Enforcement and significantly restructure that division.
Cuts were made under Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, aka DOGE. So the CFTC now has fewer cops on the beat. That said, the agency is investigating the oil trade. We reached out to the CFTC for more details, but it declined to comment.
Meanwhile, they have more work to do. There's a whole different stripe of futures contracts the CFTC needs to pay attention to. Prediction markets. We're talking Kalshi and Polymarket. Now, Kalshi is fully regulated by the CFTC because it went through the legal process to run a futures market in the United States.
Polymarket isn't as clear-cut. It is two sides of its business. One is looking to be fully regulated and legal in the U.S., just like Kalshi. The other side is the Wild West. It's an unregulated international platform.
We are in such a beginning developmental stage of these. We've seen the tip of the iceberg.
That's Stephen Peepgrass. He's a partner at Troutman Pepper Locke, a big law firm.
Polymarket's offshore business uses cryptocurrency.
Figuring out who it was who made those trades can be very difficult, if not impossible.
Polymarket International checks your location, but not your ID at the door. This makes it harder for regulators to see if insider trading is going on. And some of these Wild West markets have real national security implications. On the international version of Polymarket, you can bet on Iran having a nuclear weapon by the end of next year, or if Karg Island will be struck over the next couple of weeks.
The concern is if someone either has that knowledge and tips off the world to it, that has national security implications. If someone has a lot of money riding on it and has the ability to influence those actions, that's a huge problem as well.
Last month, the White House staff received an email warning them not to use insider information to make bets on prediction markets.
An anonymous account on Polymarket called MAGA My Man has already made hundreds of thousands of dollars. The account correctly bet on when the U.S. would strike Iran. Adversaries may look at accounts like this to see what the U.S. military could do next, even though this account has not been 100% accurate.
Now, finding out if this trader is an insider or just a lucky duck is difficult. Regulating prediction markets is a new frontier.
The U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York is really just beginning to launch an investigation into insider trading in the prediction markets. Where that goes, we don't exactly know, but we know that the CFTC is cooperating with that.
There are already calls on the Hill to do more. We'll have more on those efforts, the potential solutions, and if they're needed later this month. But Waylon, in the meantime, you can pick which movie is going to have the biggest opening weekend in 2026.
Oh, wait, let me think what's coming out. What's that new Avengers one?
Avengers Doomsday.
Yes. Everyone's returning for Avengers Doomsday. That one. That's my pick.
78% chance.
Oh, okay.
That's some favorite money right there. Okay, let's do another one. Will the U.S. withdraw from NATO by the end of this year?
Oh, God. I don't want to bet on that. Pass. Let's
Fair
go back to the
enough.
movies. This episode was produced by Corey Bridges with engineering by Jimmy Keeley. It was fact-checked by Sierra Juarez. Kicking Cannon is our show's editor, and The Indicator is a production of NPR.
This message comes from Capella University. That spark you feel? That's your drive for more. Capella University's FlexPath learning format lets you earn your degree at your pace without putting life on pause. Learn more at capella.edu. This message comes from Easy Cater, the workplace food platform. Easy Cater helps organizations order food from favorite restaurants, meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. With employee meal programs, flexible payment options, and 24/7 customer support all on one platform. Learn more at easycater.com.